A very good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching this now in the world, recorded possibly. This is Dr. Manish Chitnis. I'm representing DenTTrack, and it's one of the podcast or live in conversation with one of my favorite teachers, my mentors, my coaches in the world, and most importantly, who is now a great friend, a family friend as well. And I have to give you a little story before I invite this teacher of mine on stage. Um, so it was 2010. It was 15 years ago as I'm recording this podcast today. And I'm in conversation. I'm an NHS dentist working 5 days a week. And this teacher of mine is talking to me and saying, oh, you need to get out of the NHS dentistry and be doing some really high-end quality private work and go and give a resignation and get into private dentistry. And I'm thinking, no. I have a secure job doing NHS work. I don't really qualify to do what you're asking me to do. And at that point, I was obviously training and coaching under him, and that was sort of the best, probably 6 months I invested in coaching into something which changed my life and Shilpa, my wife, as well. We both were training and coaching. And what we learned over the 6 months in 2010 completely changed the way we did dentistry from that day. So that 5-day NHS dentist, which was me, changed into becoming 1-day private, 4-day NHS, 2-day private, 3-day NHS. And by 2014, I think 2013 or 2014, I was completely out of working on the NHS and doing exactly what this mentor and coach and teacher of mine taught me. It's a very proud moment to say in 2024 now, for 2025 as we approach, 15 years down the line, I probably only do advanced dentistry, and that's including implants and full mouth restorations, porcelain and composite stuff. And I attribute my success, my maturity in the field to none other than Dr. Ash Parmar, my teacher, my mentor. Ash, it's a pleasure to welcome you on stage today. And obviously this is a 30-minute podcast, guys, but it will be very, very enriching for all of you to listen how he changed my life, obviously, and many other dentists across the world. Ash, welcome. How are you today?
Very good, Manish. Thank you so much for that nice introduction. And it's a pleasure to be here with you.
So, Ash, the plan is I have, as always, DenTTrack podcast is around 30 minutes. That's the audience capacity to listen and absorb. Some of them are watching this on screen and listening, and some of them are probably driving and listening, or
Yes.
they're in the gym and they're listening. So it's audio and visual, or probably just audio. So I have 5 questions as always, and I want to start with one interesting one to say, you've been in this field for long, and what I want to know and the audience wants to know is, what has been your journey? What has actually inspired you to do what you do? And what has been your fulfillment and purpose over the last several years? Tell us more about yourself.
Sure. I qualified in Guy's Hospital in 1991. And then very quickly we started to look for a practice. So I went into partnership and we then acquired 3 practices over a short period of time. But the turning point for me, Manish, was a gentleman called Larry Rosenthal. So about 22 years ago, Larry at that time arguably was one of the best cosmetic dentists in the world. And he came from the USA. So these are some of my mentors. And what happened is that 1 day course instilled passion in me and was a turning point in my career. I still remember it vividly, and I was really excited that this is the great opportunity now to get into cosmetic dentistry. We then went back and forth to America with a quest and a desire to learn from the very best clinicians and the business coaches in the world. And what happened is we then set up our academy and we started doing training. So not only did I develop my skills in aesthetic dentistry, but then if you want long-lasting smiles, you need to do occlusion. So I was then involved with training dentists, and we had different hands-on courses which really worked nicely. And then in 2011, I sort of started on my own. We created a beautiful practice in Chigwell, And for the last 13 years, that's where I've been working. I work 4 days a week, and then I also do some training courses. And one of the courses you came on was the 8-day course, which you have a lovely opportunity to do a live hands-on case. So really, in summary, to the answer to your question is I've got 33 years of experience and knowledge and IP, and this all comes from seeking out the best mentors and teachers in the world to get me to where I am today.
Yes, and obviously, as some of the audience saw it on the screen, that was a quick glimpse of your mentors, coaches, trainers all across the world. It inspired you. You did quality dentistry all your life, let's say that way. And your experience in business management also grew with quite a few mentors, which I could see on the screen as we are talking. So you started sharing this with other dentists. And I think the key question comes, and obviously I have been experiencing it, but what are the benefits which people have reflected and fed back to you that those were the benefits they and their teams received? What is the audience verdict on that?
Sure. So when I train dentists, my goal is to inspire them. So my mood is to make complex things simpler to understand. And one of the things that gives me the biggest buzz, Manish, is seeing the confidence that dentists increase. You know, what they're doing is it not only changes their lives with the knowledge and information I share with them, but then they can change the lives of their own patients. My favorite slogan, if you said to me, what's Ash Palmer in one sentence, is changing people's lives and making them smile. And doing comprehensive dentistry, as you're fully aware, you're giving the patient the amazing solution of creating a beautiful, healthy, and a long-lasting smile. So we're really helping everything holistically, the whole patient. And finally, I think the biggest benefit is that the dentist's personal financial income will increase. I mean, if you look at today, I had a few patients in the morning, but then my afternoon was just one patient doing so 11 unit case on the bottom. I did 7 veneers and a 4 unit bridge prep. So I'm very relaxed, we're just doing the treatment, invoicing the whole treatment out. So from a financial point of view, doing smile makers, I believe, is one of the most profitable areas in dentistry. But that's not the sole reason. The most important thing is you're really going to change people's lives. And at the same time, your lifestyle and personal desires and financial areas will improve so that you can really have a better balance of life, I feel.
Absolutely. And as the audience is listening, my personal experience, Ash, and anybody who's listening to this in the last 15 years, there was a day when I was doing 50 patients a day.
Wow.
And I'm not even going to say what it feels like on the NHS doing 50 patients a day. And there was a time when the nurse said, you're going to kill yourself in what you're doing. So that has been a reality in my journey. And
Yeah,
Ash, very proud to say there are certain days now where I have one patient a day for 6 hours.
amazing.
And
Yeah,
that's changed my life, of course, and the quality of work working with the patients as well. I think one more thing which comes to my mind, Ash, is I'm going to say it's like an addiction and a kick,
yeah.
because when you give that mirror at a test drive
Mm,
or finally finishing things,
mm,
um, tears rolling down the patient's eyes, you getting emotional, your eyes getting moist, that is a kick. And that's what we talk about, changing somebody's life. And it really hits, because then you start thinking more than fillings and root canals, because that's what you want to achieve. So I completely align with what you say about changing a patient's life. I want to go back, Ash, with one more thing. With every 5 years or a decade in personal and professional life, and let's start your journey at age 20, how has the fulfillment and purpose changed over the decade? You talked about money, you talked about feeling happy about your patients, work life balance, working. What is it that you would guide young dentists to say, what's that fulfillment and purpose? What changed for you over the 30-35 years now?
that's a good question. So I think one important thing is when you're new to something, you feel a bit apprehensive. Like the first time you placed your first implant, I'm sure you weren't feeling confident. But
Mhm.
then once you have the right mentors and the correct sort of guidance, then your confidence increases. Yeah. So, and what I'm finding is that life is a learning curve, Manish. You never stop learning. You know, one thing I remember one of my implant mentors told me many years ago, Ash, make a long list of all the mistakes you can make in implants. As and when you do each one, just tick it off and move on. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
and in a similar way, in cosmetic dentistry, this is what's going to happen. You shouldn't get emotionally involved with your work. That's really important. You should feel confident that mistakes will happen. It's how you put them right and how you deal with things, and that's I think a very important point. But as I matured more now, I'm finding that my purpose in life and what gives me the kick now is changing. It's all about contribution, helping change other people's lives in a more higher level on the spiritual side of things. And again, this is something we can talk about in more detail. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's about connecting with the soul, understanding my patients even on a deeper level, and truly changing people's lives, not just for what they came in with, but something that money can't even buy, which they'll be eternally grateful for.
That probably was one of my questions, because lately, of course, our relationship matured over last 15 years, learning
Mm,
cosmetic dentistry, doing more, and lately have been part of your journey on the spiritual side, with
mm.
the Bhakti Vedanta Manor and lots of activities you do. Could you tell the audience about that growth in your personal and professional life, something around the spirituality aspect, please?
Yeah. So I've been fortunate that from a young age, my mum especially brought me
Hmm.
up in a nice way in terms of understanding a little bit about spirituality. And this is not about religion. It's all about having a deeper understanding. And as human beings, Manish, we have to ask more existential questions. What is the purpose of life? Why am I here? Why do people suffer? What is our goal in life? So one thing I've really discovered now is that by having a strong spiritual core, that really gives me a lot of inner security and confidence. It also helps with mindfulness and well-being. In this modern day and age, you and I know how much people are suffering with anxiety, stress, depression. So by being able to control your mind and also having that calmness in your mind and focus. I mean, you're successful now. You had the humble beginning with me, but I'm proud of all the progress you made and all the practices you've acquired and stuff you've done in India. But this has all been because of focus. And you've only been able to do that with family support, some clarity in your mind. But I find personally that that comes with having a strong spiritual core. So I do meditational chanting early in the morning. I tend to get up at about 4:35 in the morning, and up to 2 hours in the morning I'll spend doing other things, because the morning time is the best time to do this type of stuff. Then I'll go to the gym. I'll either do some exercise or play tennis or swimming, have a spa. And by the time I get to practice at 9, I'm really switched on and focused. So that gives you more energy. And then what I'm doing now is I'm sharing wisdom from the East with my patients. And I want to share this with dentists as well. And then apart from that, another concept that's really important for me is the secret, the law of attraction. This is
Mhm.
where you have positive thoughts that you manifest in the world. And if you have self-belief, you visualize with clarity what you want in life, and you have gratitude towards a higher force maybe, then you can actually achieve and have whatever you want. And then I think contribution is also important when you serve others, and any charity or any cause that's important to you. Like for me, it's helping these poor girls in India. So that's being a meaningful thing to actually offer and help others. So by doing all these things, Manish, which are nothing to do with dentistry, actually gives you much more focus. And I've found that I then become much more successful, and your income levels, everything goes up within the world of dentistry. I don't know why. It's just like magic.
No, well said. And actually, you said it doesn't relate directly, but when I'm reflecting, and I remember in the 8-day program, which was over the 6 months in the hands-on program in Chigwell, there was an element, briefly, but about spirituality already, if I remember correct, 2010.
Yeah.
And what these two things, I'm relating now myself: spirituality, insights, uh, mindfulness, mind control, reflection, empathy, communication skills, understanding people,
Mm.
working with them to achieve what they want to achieve, almost like the whole thing about contribution and in a sense of giving back to people kind of stuff. So there are lots of elements which are related. And if I really see all
Mm.
these communication skills, all the ethical work which we do actually
Yes.
finally relates to a serving process, which becomes a sales process, which becomes a trust process, and
Mm.
people like you in a sense, and that's why they work with you. So I think the
Exactly.
spirituality and the NLP aspect of it, which you quite efficiently include in the programs, that has also changed the thinking. It's not just about porcelain veneers; it's much more than that. It gets me to one more question, and I'll tell you what it is. 10 to 15% people, 10 to 15% dentists, that's what I hear. The thing is, actually dare to do the dentistry at this kind of end with the full mouth restorations, veneers, porcelain work, full mouth implants, and that kind of stuff. And the word which keeps coming back is courage. What is your tip to dentists who are scared to do this kind of dentistry because they think it's stressful? What should they do to get out of the fear of failure?
Good question. Um, I think the first important thing is having the knowledge. Okay, so when a younger dentist comes in, maybe they lack the knowledge and the experience, but you got to start somewhere, Manish. You got to do your first cosmetic case, so you need to start somewhere. So go on training, go on courses, so that read some stuff, get the right books, so that you increase your technical knowledge. The next important thing is how is the best way to learn. For me, it's always been hands-on. I've learned the best way by picking the right mentors, learning hands-on from them, following them, getting mentored by them. So this, I think, is the best way of actually acquiring knowledge and keeping it. The third thing is select your teachers and mentors carefully. What I mean by this is understand what is their background, their reputation, where they are, and what sort of support are they going to give you. You could go on a course, but then the important thing afterwards is if you need to plan a case, can you approach your mentor easily and efficiently? The next important thing is when you move into a field of dentistry, whether it's implants or smile makeovers, you must invest in the right materials and equipment. So when people come on my courses, I make it very clear all the important things that they need to get. So that's really important. A couple of other tips, Manish. You need to do very good treatment planning and communication. You need to be very precise with your understanding of the patient's goals and communication with them, and also with the dental laboratory. Because if you want best aesthetic dentistry, this aspect is very important. So once you have all of the above, then start with simpler cases. Pick your nice patients, those who are more grateful, and bit by bit develop your confidence, and then soon you'll be finding you'll be taking on bigger cases. So remember that you learn from your mistakes rather than just the successes. And please understand, I still make mistakes despite 30 years experience and having fitted thousands of restorations. Microscopically, we all make little mistakes, but don't beat yourself up about it. Yeah. So courage will come. You need to start somewhere.
Well said. And I'm going to take this opportunity, Ash, reflecting for a minute and speaking to the audience at this stage to say what worked and helped to build that courage for me when I did this over the last 15 years. And honestly, at this stage, I don't feel scared with any case at this stage because we are following digital dentistry, we're doing treatment planning. But if I have to reflect to say, okay, I selected the right training programs, the right coaches, I invested in getting mentors who were actually overlooking through over my shoulders to actually help and handhold. And one of that was Ash, where I actually physically did my first ever case of 10 veneers after being a dentist for 12 years. I had not done probably more than 2 veneers, but that handholding was my key. That's number one. And the best thing I've done, if I really look at all the fields where I took training and mentoring and coaching, is when I came back, I did first 5 cases at my own cost. So I picked up, as Ash said, those good people who needed it, but they couldn't afford it. I said, this is you're my first 5 cases. It's completely protected. I'm trained. I have mentors. If I need help, they can do it. I was very open and honest. And those 5 people trusted and went ahead. and we use them as our marketing collaterals for the next ones. And that's where the journey happened. And the
Yeah.
courage started changing from case 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And by fifth case, I think things start sort of settling down. So my reflection and sort of share at this stage with Ash is basically do it, and do
Yeah.
it immediately after that coaching, mentoring, and handholding has happened. Don't leave a gap between that, waiting for patients to pay you, because you actually need to prove to yourself that you can cross the line for that courage. Now, taking this forward, Ash, one more question very quickly, and I think you might have answered, but are there any, let's say, top 5 tips as a cosmetic dentist to say these top 5 tips is something people remember and they can be, let's say, like you as a top
Oh,
cosmetic
okay,
dentist?
no worries. So, top 5 tips from Ash Parmar. Number 1, invest in yourself. I went back and forth to America to learn from the best. This took me time and energy and financial investment. So, pick your courses selectively and focus on what you want to get really good at. The second tip, Manish, is you must believe in yourself. Okay? Because you have to believe that you can do this really well, and you have to challenge yourself in a way. So that's really important. The third tip is something I learned from a dentist when I went for my first interview as an associate, going back nearly 34 years ago. And he taught me at the interview that day that whatever you do in life, Ash, any procedure, do every single step really well. So, if you're doing cementation, there are many steps involved. Do each and every step really well. Don't take any shortcuts. So that's always stuck in my mind since that humble beginning. As I said to you earlier on, the fourth tip I can give is invest in the right equipment and materials. So, for example, if you want to do smile makeovers, you'll be seriously looking at a laser, for example, a soft tissue diode laser. You should be getting loops so you can do high quality dental work. 5 magnification loops, what I use. I'm into digital occlusion as well. So T-Scan is a product that I love to help dial in my cases and get the occlusion really good. So these are some of the things you need to develop your skills and invest in the actual equipment. And finally, from a marketing point of view, it's really important you create a brand. So even if you're a young associate dentist, you're working as an associate with someone, there's nothing stopping you having a micro website, creating your own Instagram account, having your own business cards. So when you go to a social function or somewhere, you can hand out your own business cards. So it's really important to start doing beautiful photography, documenting your cases really well, and starting your branding from early on. Because even if you come for an interview for me as a young associate, I'll be wanting to see on your iPad, okay, what sort of cases have you done? What type of skills you have? How's your photography? And if you've done nice documentation, this will give me very good clues that, hey, this guy's a really good dentist. So these are some general tips I think you should consider in wanting to one day become the top cosmetic dentist.
Ash, thank you. Audience who has been watching the video, obviously it's on your screen. If you want to ask Ash any question on Instagram, it's at Ash Parmar Dentist. It's at ASHPARMAR Dentist. If you want to give Ash a quick WhatsApp message, I'm pretty sure Ash will invite that on 07971291180. Just repeating it, 07971291180. And somebody wants to look at how does the Academy by Ash perform? What do they do? It's the academybyash.co.uk. On that note, I'm going to say systems are very, very important. And the big portfolio which Ash gives at the Academy by Ash, I still have that, the white big folder with all pages systematically in there. Obviously, I don't need to refer back to it now because it's habit. But those systems and processes are very, very important. And on that note, I'm going to say I'm the systems man. So if anybody wants to run business systems, DenTTrack.co.uk is the website where you go. If you want to do any business management, which gives clarity about roles, responsibilities to your team members, it manages compliance, manages attendance, holidays, training. If you're looking at non-clinical part, then that's DenTTrack. And if anybody wants to speak to me, my number is 0770 3724664. WhatsApp or call me. This is Manish from DenTTrack. Last concluding question, Ash, as we hit towards the 30-minute mark, is if somebody wants to uh, on board with you and
Mhm.
somebody would like to do the Academy by Ash programs, what kind of programs do you have? And how should they start the journey?
Okay. So the first important thing I'd like to share is that my background comes from, as I said before, having learned from the top mentors that have coached me. So these people include Frank Spears for all my occlusion training, David Holmbrook, Robert Kirstein's the best digital occlusion teacher in the world, Larry Rosenthal, Galip Gorel, Christian Coachman, Bill Batford. All these people have been helping me over the years. So I've got 33 years of experience and IP and knowledge in my mind to share with you if you come on my courses. One of the best ways to learn, though, which is an important question to ask, is this is that really understand that if you read something, then within 2 weeks you may only remember 10%. If you hear something, Manish, then you may remember 20% of what you heard after 2 weeks. However, if you see something, then you may remember 30%. If you see and hear 50%. And then finally, in my experience and research shows from this guy called Edgar Dale that if you actually take part in something, if you actually do a smile makeover with me over the shoulder helping you, and you physically take part in the real experience, then you will retain 90% of the knowledge. So fundamentally, there are two courses that are offered. There's the first one, which is a 2-day hands-on course. It's called Veneers by Ash. It's run in London. So it's a tremendous opportunity for international dentists to come to this 2-day course. I do it 3 times a year in London. The dates are available on the Academy website. And this is a beautiful, inspirational, innovative course which is cutting edge, based backed by a lot of scientific evidence. And you do the veneer preps, I do cementation, all the steps A to Z, how we do this actual procedures on smile makers. It's a beautiful venue in London. It's a vegan restaurant. The facility is amazing. The food is amazing. And with me, everything is about world-class training. I want you to have the best knowledge and learning, but also the best experience and sharing knowledge with like-minded people. If you're a UK dentist and you really want to learn this type of thing, or even if you're coming from abroad, then you're going to learn how to do beautiful smile makeovers in only 2 days. So what this really means is that you'll be turning my decades of knowledge into simply a couple of days of learning. And I give you assurance that I'll give you ongoing mentorship. If you need to treatment plan cases, whatever, just WhatsApp me and we can have a chat in the evening and I'll guide you on that. If you want to move to the highest level with me, then once a year only, I do this 8-day course. It's called the Aesthetic, Restorative and Occlusion Hands-On course. It normally begins in June and ends in December. And you can bring your patient and treat this case 8 to 12 units under my supervision. And the income you earn from doing your patient, you keep. So pretty much this largely pays off for the whole course.
I'm going to jump in and say this is the course which changed my life. Okay, carry on, Ash.
Sure. So that's the 8-day course, which I do once a year only. So for 2025, there are only 3 hands-on places left. If anyone's interested, then WhatsApp me directly. And really, as I've mentioned before, the benefits of doing smile makeovers is that you're going to change people's lives. You know, this is literally life-changing dentistry, and it's going to give you a lot of financial, maybe emotional reward as well. And therefore, you're going to improve your own lifestyle. So it's all about choosing your why. Why do you want to get into bigger cases? So for me, on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, I get up early, do my meditational chanting, go to David Lloyd, which is a beautiful health spa and a club we have locally. I feel perfectly in good shape by the time I turn up at the practice. We've got a beautiful, aesthetically looking spa-like practice. And then, you can take time off work because you're doing really high-end dentistry, you're earning the right income. I'd like to take at least 6 weeks of holiday a year, travel with my family. One of the passions I have is golf, so I take Thursday off, and then I'll go and rejuvenate, have a nice round of golf. And then the final thing was all about success, happiness, and fulfillment. That again, one of my mentors, the guy Swami. So what you're going to learn on this course is how to do this type of work, where you're doing 8 to 10 minutes of work. And as a thank you to you, Manish, I'd like to offer anyone listening to this podcast an offer. So if anyone books on my next one or two Veneers by Ash courses with this promotional code called SMILE250, that's SMILE 250, I'm happy to give £250 off my course. You can literally go on the website and enter that promotional code in, and then have that sort of discount. And if someone wants to ask me more questions, then obviously feel free to message me directly. So in summary, there's 3 ways you can contact me. You can DM me at Ash Parmar Dentist, that's my Instagram, and there's some nice posts and stories I put on there. And you can WhatsApp me. I prefer WhatsApp because it's quicker and easier. And you can also email me, and you can connect with me via the website. And there's lots of beautiful before and after cases and information on the website. So yeah, I mean, this is a brief update on the academy. If there's a principal dentist that wants to move up to the highest level, then I'm happy to offer some coaching aspect as well, because I feel I can contribute and really improve the growth and the net of your practice, and give you not only clinical skills but business skills. And this is something you're brilliant at, Manish, as well. So I think dentists, you need to understand, you got to pick the right person to learn all the different things from.
Ash, thank you very, very much. I'm just going to probably conclude with one advice which I have given my son, who is doing dentistry in Leeds. He's in year 3. And I said to him, the one thing which I would like him to really, really, really nail or understand or study at the start of his career is occlusion. And that came a bit later in my journey, and I realized how much I missed by not understanding occlusion. Ash mentioned very, very clearly T-scan, digital occlusion, digital treatment planning, understanding exactly how occlusion works is the key to success. So that was my first tip. And I obviously added on to say that speaking, connecting, marketing, and sales is so very important as well. And I'm pretty sure Ash touches on these topics on the 8-day program. So audience who's listening to this, it's not just the clinical skills, it's not just the occlusion skills, but it is also the soft skills which go along with it, which make the success. Because knowing clinics are clinical and not having any patients who are actually trusting you can be very dampening. So Ash, once again, thank you so much. It has been a very, very helpful half an hour. I am going to say, keep doing exactly what you're doing, keep changing lives for so many like me, and very proud, very grateful for everything you have done for us. We look forward to seeing you, and I'm pretty sure so many more will join on the journey which you have set for all of us. Thank you so much for coming along today.
Manish, thank you so much for inviting me. And I want to just make final concluding point from me. For me, it's really amazing to see the progress you've made over the decade or more that we've known each other. And even your wife Shilpa, she does amazing stuff. And this gives me joy. When I see dentists becoming successful or moving on to another level, and also coaching and mentoring yourself and doing so much more. So this really is very nice for me to see. And I want to congratulate you on DenTTrack, on all the hard work. I know how much hard work can go into something like that. And this is the best product of its type by a mile. So, if anyone's got practice and you want to set up your systems efficiently and organized so you can really and just get on and do the dentistry, then I think you need to certainly know what goes on behind the scenes and motivating your team and your staff. So congratulations on DenTTrack, and I'm sure it's going to be a great success.
Thank you so much. All the audience, have a good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are. Have a lovely day, and we'll see you on another podcast like this. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye bye.